Welcome to Learn It, a series of digital scrapbooking tutorials by Studio Wendy at Scrapbook Graphics. Today we're going to look at the word strip batcher actions. I have started here with the template that was provided open, and there's a couple of things that we want to go ahead and do first. The first thing we want to do, of course, is edit the type layer. So I'm going to select the type layer and double click it to begin editing the text. You may have to adjust the font if you don't have this font installed. And let's see, let's just pick a different font here. And then you can go ahead and type in the words that you want to use on your word strips. You can use one word per line, you can use a whole phrase per line, you can put whatever you want, but each line will end up being a different word strip. So let's go ahead and do that. The great thing is that you don't have to fill up every line. You can generate some blanks as well. So if you were to fill up, say, 20 of the 24 lines, you can generate 4 blank ones to go along with your word strips. Once you've gone ahead and edited the type, you can also edit the layer styles. Currently, I have an inner glow set to a dark brown color, and if you zoom in, you'll see that that just gives a very light effect going around the edges, just kind of a burn effect. So you can double click on the FX icon to bring up your effects. You can go to the inner glow setting, you can change the color, you can change the blending mode, the opacity. You can edit the amount of noise that's in here, for example. You may not have all these options if you're using Photoshop Elements, and you may just want to go ahead and stick with the basic one I have applied here. If you don't want any edge effect, you can remove it. Just select all the layers, right-click, and choose Clear Layer Style. Okay, so once we've edited the type and we've changed our layer style if we want to, it's time to go ahead and run the word strip batcher action. So I'm just going to press play. I'll get a message explaining the action. Press continue. Then you'll be prompted to select your background paper. So I'm going to select the paper, click open, and the action will go ahead and put that paper into the file here. And then for the next several steps, what we're going to do is adjust the width of our word strips. So just grab the right anchor and you can just drag it over so that your words are centered here on the strip. So we're going to do that for each of these. If your word is cut off like that, you just need to expand it more to show it so that you can see it there. And once you get to your blank ones, you can either just hit enter and accept the default, or you can vary the width of those as well if you want to offer some different length strips. I like using papers for this that have a little bit of a different edge effect so that each strip is actually a little bit unique. Once everything is done there, we're going to be prompted to save the file. So I'll go ahead and click save. And then from here, the action is going to begin running an individual save on every layer and trimming it down. When it's all done, you'll be returned back to the original template file, and then you can go ahead and hit Command Open to go find your strips. If you're on a Mac, they may be placed on your desktop. If you're not on a Mac, you may actually be prompted to hit Enter for each strip that's saved. So let's just open a few of these and take a look at them. So you can see here if we zoom in, it's hard to tell, but there's a very subtle edge effect applied here in the brown, and there's our word strip neatly trimmed and saved. And then there's one of the blanks and another one of the blanks. So we have run the word strip batcher action. Now we have 2 more options. In Creative Cloud Edition, we have the Strip Doodler Pro and the Doodler Batch action. In Photoshop Elements, because we can't batch things the way we can in Photoshop, we only have the Pro action. So let me demonstrate the Pro action first. For that one, what you want to do is go ahead and open up any one of the strips and select the Pro action and press play. You'll get a little message here about adding the doodle border and just press continue. Then you'll be prompted to adjust the layer style, and this is the thickness of the border that you want to go around your word strip. So you can change that. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller by choosing 3 and press OK. And then the randomizer is going to be brought up, and you can change this by clicking randomize to get a slightly different effect each time if you want to. And when you're happy with it, just click OK. And you're going to be prompted to do that a couple of times. Then you're prompted to add the second border. So again, I'm going to change that one to a 3. And then so that it's not exactly the same as it was before, I'll hit randomize. And then I'm prompted to save a copy of it. And that's what that one looks like. Each time you run it, you can get a different effect. So if I go ahead and close this, open it again, and this time I'm going to run the Photoshop Elements version because it works a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and see how that one runs. So I'm going to press play. We get the message. When we get this red box on here, this is going to be the setting that's going to adjust the thickness of your border. So right now it's set to 5 pixels. If I want to make it smaller, again, I can put in a smaller number. So I'm going to type in 3. And then I get the randomize option. And then again, I need to type in 3 to match that border and hit randomize. And then I'm prompted to save it. And you'll see here, this one in Photoshop Elements will use your foreground color to make your border. In the Photoshop version, if you want to change the color, you can do that. Simply edit the color swatch when the stroke layer comes up. So for example, let's go ahead, open a strip again. When this layer style box comes up, just click the color swatch and you can select a different color here. We'll go ahead and leave this one at 5 this time. And we're prompted to save. So there is that doodle border on that particular strip. Now, if you want to use the batch option, what I recommend doing is first duplicating your entire folder of saved word strips and running it on a copy, just so you don't overwrite the original and lose the plain ones. So in order to run this action, you want to go ahead and select it here. Then you're going to go to File, Automate, Batch. And in this window, you want to make sure that you set your set to the word strip batcher and the action to the strip doodler batch version. Then here under choose, you're going to click and choose your folder of word strips. Finally, you want to choose the save and close option here, which means that for every save step that's in the action, it's going to overwrite your file, and then it's going to close out of it when it's done. And you want to make sure you have checked override action save as commands in order for the action to go ahead and do that without you having to hit enter every time. And then just press OK. And what this will do is open up every single strip that's in that folder. It will run the action and prompt you to change the settings as it goes each time. And then it will save over it. The doodle batch action is currently set to not force you to change the wave settings and the line thickness, which is currently set to 5 pixels. If you do want to edit those as the action runs for each individual item, you can turn the input on for those particular steps. Those steps are going to be set layer styles, so you can toggle that on, and then scroll down and toggle on any of the steps that say wave that you want to control. So you can turn those on, and scroll down, you can turn those on. And now when you batch it, you will be able to edit those settings as it runs. But if you just want an automatic version that will just run through the whole folder without any input from you, you leave those turned off. Okay, so that's the word strip batcher actions for Photoshop and Photoshop Elements. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you next time.